All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for attending our Title I parent meeting. This is a meeting that we do actually in the fall and the spring, giving parents an opportunity to meet with our Title I staff and building principals to learn a little bit about our program and to actually, more importantly, learn about how you can help your child at home. Our reading specialist will be here. They'll be talking about lots of strategies and resources that you can use, and then they'll also be available for questions. So as we go through the night, you can feel free to put questions in the chat. We do have our teachers monitoring that chat room, so please feel free to put anything in there, and we'll get to those questions as we go. Um, so tonight, our agenda, we're just going to welcome everyone, and I'm going to do a little overview of our federal programs, talking about some of our reading assessments that we use here at Gateway, including the programs that we use, 95% group, Haggerty, Headsprout, reading counts, and reading counts is always a popular item at Gateway, and also our reading resource Google site, which we have available for everybody. So we will be sharing those resources out to you tonight and providing you a place to find those things. Tonight, just going to introduce our reading specialists. We have from CSE, Miss Leslie Hill.
Hi, everyone.
And Dr. Janet Neithamer.
Hi, thanks for coming.
And from Evergreen, we have Mrs. Jennifer Hayes. And from Ramsey, Miss Ellen Hayes.
Hi, everyone.
From Mosside Middle School, Miss Christy Jackal.
Hi, everybody.
And also Dr. Neithamer is at Mosside as well.
Hi again.
And Miss Lori Stevenson from University Park.
Hello, everyone.
In addition, I'd like to welcome the principals from CSE, Dr. Eric Knorr. From Ramsey Elementary, Miss Rebecca Gill.
Hi, everyone. It's good to have you here. Thanks for coming.
And from University Park, Miss Jennifer Hoffner.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming.
And my name's Michael Mateo. I'm the principal of Evergreen Elementary School, and I'll serve as our host tonight. So as we go through, again, I just want to remind everybody that please feel free to post any questions you have in our chat. We will be monitoring that as we go through. And I appreciate you being here. It's so nice to have such a great turnout on an evening where we can all come together and just learn a little bit more about our programs. So as I said, I'm going to give a little, just a quick federal programs overview and talk about, first of all, Title I. So that's kind of why we're here tonight. Our Title I program here at Gateway is a school-wide program. And those specialists that are here with us tonight work with every single child in the school. And that's the kind of what a school-wide program is. It gives extra support for all of our students. A lot of times what we hear is my child receives Title I, and how do I get into that? Well, your child is in for Title I services because they go to our school. It is for everybody. All of our Title I support revolves around our core curriculum and the PA core standards. We use a variety of assessments to find out where our students are and what types of interventions they may need. As part of our program, we also have a parent engagement policy, and that's where we actually take suggestions from you. So tonight would be a great opportunity for you to suggest things you would like to see from our program as well. So, and this is all part of our annual evaluation of our Title I program. So again, please feel free to make suggestions and talk about something you would like to see from our programs here at our elementary schools and our middle school. Gateway also utilizes Title II funding. Our current Title II funding is used as a classroom reduction. We currently have 2 teachers that are paid with federal money through Title II. Specifically, those are kindergarten teachers, and that helps us to reduce class sizes in those classrooms. So many of your students will be actually taught with a teacher who is provided by Title II funds. And finally, Title IV federal money is used from the following areas. First of all, if you look at the well-rounded education, we use funds to provide artists and residents experiences, and we also are providing residents experiences in our elementaries. If you notice, we have 4th grade listed. We provided dance opportunities last year in our 4th grade curriculum. And then also we use those funds for the STEM Design Challenge, which unfortunately didn't happen last year because of the kids leaving the buildings due to COVID. But at the end of the year, we bring our 4th grades together for a great STEM challenge at the high school, and we're looking forward to doing that once we can come back together. So let's hope we are back together very soon. We also use our Title IV funds for safe and healthy schools. I'm sure you've heard of our OVAS program, our bullying prevention program, which every school utilizes. We also use funds towards our PBIS, positive behavior support plans within each building. And also there's some professional development around trauma-informed care and being sure that we're providing opportunities for our teachers to learn how to work with students who have experienced trauma. And then, of course, as more important than ever, the effective use of technology. Looking at the digital learning project, partnering with our ed tech team, we've provide professional development. And I'd like to also note that we have a parent training session coming up next week. So check your Skyward for that. We'd love to have you join us for the training sessions. We're going to be working on providing you some resources on using that iPad at home within our Google Classroom and our Google Suite as well. We also have engaged our teachers with Apple Professional Learning. I know Mosside Middle School had gone through that previously, and now we are providing that to the elementary teachers. So just another use of the Title IV federal funds and how that's used at Gateway. So if you have any questions about those, you can go ahead and put that in the chat, and we'll be able to get you some answers. So I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Hayes, who's going to talk about our reading assessments, K-6, and our universal screenings. So Mrs. Hayes.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. So Acadience is a new measure very similar to DIBELS. If you are familiar with DIBELS, which stands for Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Skills. So this assessment, Acadience, is the word screener is another word for assessment. So basically we use this assessment for all of our students K-4. You can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. Since this will be videotaped, you guys will get a chance to go back and read this in greater detail if you'd like. But the main goal is to use the data that we get to drive instruction. So we find out what your children's needs are, and then we plan our lessons around it. And progress monitoring, you'll see just in that first sentence, just means we check in with the kids every few weeks to see if they're making growth. And if they're not, then we adjust our instruction. Next slide. And these are just the different assessments that are given, actually K-6. And so you're going to hear more about phonemic awareness from my colleagues in the next few slides. So I'm not going to go into great detail there, but these are all the foundational skills that we assess to, again, help your children as best we can. So our next speaker is Mrs. Stevenson.
Hello, guys. We're so glad you're with us this evening. I'm going to talk to you about 95% group. 95% group is one of the intervention tools that we have to use with your children. And the one thing we love about 95% group is it offers a diagnostic. So we're doing things in progression. We give everyone our universal screener, which is the Acadians, and then we use that screener to determine who needs to take a diagnostic. In kindergarten and the beginning of grade 1, we use the phonological awareness screener for intervention. We use this screener because the children that we're screening have deficits in first sound fluency or phonemic segmentation. We have a lot of parents that will ask us in kindergarten and grade 1, how do you know my child needs help in reading? They can't even read yet. That's why we use this screener, because we know that phonemic awareness is one of the beginning stages of learning to read. So we use that screener first. Next slide, please. And the screener this is an example of what the screener looks like. There's several pages to it, but these are just some of the things we ask the children to do. Next slide, please. Once children get into mid-year first grade, we're now giving them a phonic screener. We still use the Acadians to determine who's going to need this screener, but at this point, children are having problems with nonsense words or oral fluency. This screener is going to do the same thing. It's going to help us determine where are we starting with our phonics program with these specific children. And I want you to understand something about the phonemic awareness and the phonics. We put children in groups where they belong. Not everybody that needs reading support has the same issues. So once we take and give these screeners, we can help put them in flexible groups. This is an example of your phonics screener. Next slide. And then just as I had said, when we're using 95% group, we're teaching a 15-day cycle. Once that cycle is over, we go back and progress monitor those children and move them in groups based on instructional need. So the groups are fluid and flexible, and children can move in and out of them during the course of the school year. And next we have Mrs. Ellen Hayes.
Thank you, Mrs. Stevenson. I'm going to talk about a new program that we're very excited about this year called Haggerty. We have been researching this for the past couple years and are excited to use it this year. The Haggerty program was developed by Dr. Michael Haggerty, and it's to help children develop phonemic awareness and the skills that are essential, as Mrs. Stevenson mentioned, to learn to read and write. And phonemic awareness is the understanding that spoken words are made up of individual sounds, which are called phonemes. And if you could please go to the next slide, please, Mr. Mateo, I believe. Oh, no, back one. And if you could play that video for us, it gives a great explanation.
You're going to have to give me 1 second because that video doesn't want to play on the slideshow. So give me a second. Yes, I'm going to have to share a different screen.
Sorry, it worked this afternoon when we practiced.
Yes.
That's okay. Well, I'll get you. No problem.
Thank you.
Here we go.
75% of students who do not read proficiently by 3rd grade never reach reading proficiency in future grades. Phonemic awareness is a foundational skill in learning to read and is often a missing piece in early literacy instruction. Literacy Resources publishes the Haggerty Phonemic Awareness Curriculum. We provide 35 weeks of daily and systematic instruction in phonological and phonemic awareness for preschool, kindergarten, and primary classrooms. The lessons take just 10 to 12 minutes to complete and fit right into your current literacy instruction. We offer the curriculum in both English and in Spanish. The lessons can be used with a whole group during your Tier 1 literacy instruction, and the lessons can also be used for intervention with students who struggle to decode.
right, thank you. Next slide, please. As the speaker mentioned, we will be using Haggerty this year with our K1 and 2 students. And we will be using this with our hybrid students live in the classroom, as well as our GATE students. And the excellent component of this is there are virtual lessons that we can post to your child's Google Classroom. So perhaps they're in cohort A and they may have a lesson with myself or one of the other reading specialists on Monday and Tuesday. And then we would post virtual lessons for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They're 8 to 10 minute lessons, which is excellent, really engages the kids, holds their attention, and will really help them build on those skills. Next slide, please. And this is just a sample of the kindergarten lessons, some of the skills that we'll be covering, and it's all auditory. So we're speaking and they're listening and repeating and giving answers. We'll be covering rhyme recognition, onset fluency, which is identifying those first sounds, blending words, isolating words, final sounds, segmenting words, adding, deleting, and substituting sounds, as well as for our early learners, alphabet letter fluency. So we're excited to use it this year. I think we're going to see some really great results with it. And our next speaker is Mrs. Leslie Hale.
Hi, everyone. I apologize for my background here. I couldn't find a quiet place in my house, so I'm in my daughter's bedroom, and I didn't want you to see all the randomness in the background. So that's why I have the screen behind me. The programs that were talked about before were great. This is another program called, the overall program is called Learning A to Z, but we use two different parts of it. The first one is Kids A to Z. And could you go to the next slide, please? Rouse Kids is the first program, and it is a bunch of online ebooks that are leveled. There are 29 different levels of difficulty, and the kids use them. You can use it on the computer, read them on the computer, a tablet, a phone, and so they also have automated quizzes that go along with this. So it's for grades K to 5 and beyond. It's for it could be for accelerated readers or struggling readers. So we do benchmark assessments periodically to determine if the kids are on the right reading level. We also have, could you go to the next slide? This is how you would log in. Kids love this program. It's very interactive. There's, as you see on the slide, there's the star zone where kids earn points for reading so many books, and they could go in the star room and spend their points on different things to put in their rooms. So the more they read, the more points they get and the more they get to spend. As you see on the slide there are two different, I don't know if those are avatars. We're just little rooms. The reading room is all kinds of different books. That could be, there's nursery rhymes. There are any different kind of book you can think of. The level up books in that pod on the bottom is books that are all on the student's level. Sometimes while I have my students, I shut off the reading room because some of the levels are a little too hard for them. But in the level up, all the books should be on the student's independent reading level. Okay, next slide. This is a sample of what it would look like if a student logged in. As you can see, I think this is the actual book room where there's just different categories of books that are displayed there. Next one. Okay, Head Sprout is another part of the Learning A to Z program. It is more phonics based. It's also online, just like Raz Kids. It helps with, as Mrs. Hayes was talking about, those phonemic awareness skills that the kids are sometimes lacking. So, and it's progressive and it builds off of skills. We give the kids a placement test at the beginning to determine what path or what level they should start on. And it's designed to tailor the instruction to the students, every student's need. Next slide. This is what the login looks like when they would go to Head Sprout. There's a book room that has leveled readers as well, like RAS Kids, but they're focusing on the skills that the students are working on at that point. So if they were working on short A, all the in the book room would be books of, or the book would be reinforcing that short A sound. Head Sprout, there, oh, go ahead. This is the map. That's the whole, those are all the episodes. So the farther you get along, the harder the program gets. And it's after they work through certain phonics skills, they get more into comprehension and things like that. So next slide, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Jackal.
Hi, everybody. I'm Christy Jackal. I'm at Mosside. I'm going to talk to you about the Scholastic Reading Inventory and Reading Counts. The SRI, which is what we all call it, is a measure of comprehension for the students. Every student, first grade through sixth grade, takes the SRI at least 3 or 4 times a year. And then when they take the assessment, if you can go to the next slide. This is a sample of like a question that they may see. So it'll give them a series of questions. It can be anywhere from, a few sentences to a couple of paragraphs as the students get older that they have to answer. And every time they get a question right, it pushes them further and further to get a score. And then they eventually get what's called a Lexile Score. And that is just pretty much telling you what reading level they are on. Sorry, my updates came up. So they'll get something at the end of their test that says your Lexile is this. So if your child comes home and says, "Oh, we took our SRI today. My Lexile is 813," that score means that's the reading level that they are on. In the next slide, in a minute, I will show you what the scores mean. But they'll also give you a list of books that are appropriate for that grade level for that child. Next slide, please. Now this is what the Lexile Score means. So if you look at your child's grade level, and you can see where they should be by the end of that grade year. So the end of second grade, they should be between 420 to 650. That's the proficient level. If their score is not that high, then that means they need some work with their comprehension. So, and that's where we come in to help with that. Now, we do a fun program at all the schools called Reading Counts, which I'm sure you know of. So the students, whenever they get their Lexile Score, they can choose books that are on their Lexile. Every book in all of our libraries are labeled with their Lexiles, and also the Minerva Public Library has their books labeled by Lexile too. So if students pick a book, they read a book, they can go on to Reading Counts and they can take quizzes and earn points. And every school does something a little bit different, but it's just kind of a fun way. They can earn points, they can earn prizes for each level that they hit. Most schools will do like a big celebration at the end of the year for that. So it's just something fun to motivate the kids to keep on reading. Even at the middle school, we do it too. And next is Dr. Neathmer.
Hi, I'm not apologizing for my background because I think it's cute. I just put this website in the chat for everybody. This is our new website that the Title I team put together for you. It is our reading resource site, and Mr. Mateo is going to click around a little bit and I will explain. So clicking on the link in the chat, we will also, email this out to you or put it on our district website. So Mr. Mateo, click on the gator. Yay. Okay, so here we are. When you open up our site, it looks like this. And at the top, you can see the different tabs: home, contact, sites for kids, and sites for adults. And again, this is just a resource for you. All of our contact information, if you need to reach any of us, is obviously under contact. And we'll scroll down so you can see. So there we are. You can email any of us anytime with any questions, comments, concerns. We're here for you. And then we have sites for the kids. And these are just a few of our many resources, easy access for you. Kids A to Z is what Mrs. Hill was talking about earlier. The, I don't know what that's called. The Gateway web browser, what's that called? Somebody help me. WebStart, thank you, WebStart, okay. And Moby Max, the kids are familiar with all three of these things, or they will be shortly. And we also added our Bitmoji classrooms. These are different than our Google classrooms. These are kind of fun, click around, see what you find classrooms. Mr. Mateo, click on mine if you don't mind. Of course, I choose mine. Look at me, look at me. So when you open a teacher's Bitmoji classroom, each one is different. And we have added things for the kids. And on mine, you can just see different things. Pretty much everything is clickable. It takes you to my Google Classroom. Those are read aloud books. Those are my cats. You can even click on them and go to a video. You click on my Bitmoji and it'll take you to my website. So a variety of fun stuff for the kids to see. And again, these aren't our Google classrooms. And I think the kids are pretty familiar with what the Google classrooms look like. Will that open for you, Mr. Mateo? Let's see. Oh, you're not added yet, Mr. Mateo.
I'm not in your class.
Yeah, so sorry.
Okay.
Mr. Mateo, if you take us back to the GSD resource site and check out the sites for adults, we compiled just a couple of sites for you grown-ups to help you, Skyward, Monroeville Public Library, a little bit about phonics, blending and segmenting, that phonemic awareness we keep talking about, some resources for you, of course, the district website, more information about that RAS and Head Sprout, and of course, our contact. Again, if you're confused about anything, need extra help, please reach out. And again, I put that into the chat, the site into the chat for easy access. Now, speaking of the chat, nobody put in any questions, but I think Mr. Mateo will still pause to let anybody shout out some stuff. Mr. Mateo, sending it back to you.
Thank you. So one of the things I'm going to do right now is I would just like to launch a poll, a quick poll. If you could just click on the school that your child attends. I'm doing this just for attendance purposes. So we appreciate you participating in that. I do have a question for the reading teachers at this point. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to stop my share here. Question with reading counts. Reading counts, my child's a GATE student. How will I access the reading counts program?
We are still waiting to hear from the tech department about reading counts. This year, apparently, we will be able to access it from home for the first time ever. So I'm not sure when that's going to be up and running.
Yeah, as soon as we haven't been able to access the SRI yet either, but as soon as that's up and running, that your child should be able to get onto it right from their iPad, right from their WebStart app. It'll be right on there. They should be able to go right into it. I think they were able to do that in the spring also.
Okay, we have some questions in the chat. We have a question about ABC Kids, and I'm not sure what is that ABC SIA? Well, I'm not sure what that site is.
It's
And
ABC, yeah.
oh yeah, Mr. Mateo, you forgot my site in that lovely poll.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay, so another question is, who do we ask about what our child's Lexile is? And I would say their reading teacher or us. This year, we have not administered the SRI yet. It's been a slow start with the hybrid and the GATE. So probably by the end of October, kids in grades 2 and above will have a Lexile score from the SRI. So I would ask your classroom's reading teacher, homeroom teacher, or us, I would say mid to end October.
And I'll jump in and just say, Krista, I can provide you Lexile as well. The MAP assessments that we've done, if your child's in first, second, third grade, we can get a Lexile from those as well. So reach out to me and I can provide that.
Yeah,
Oh,
most of the
another
time
excellent question. I'm not sure who wants. I'm sorry, Christy. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say, the students mostly take the SRI in their reading classroom. So the reading teacher or the ELA teacher would be the one to reach out to once we take those.
Another excellent question from Leslie is, how much time per week should a child be on this website? I'm not sure what website she means because we have a whole bunch that we shared. We have Raz Kids and our GSD resource sites. Anyone want to field that answer?
I can address that briefly. For students that will be in our Google Classrooms and on our rosters, we usually would say if they're doing Head Sprout, we might say, do one, for example, your assignments for Wednesday might be one episode of Head Sprout, read one story on Raz Kids, and please view your Haggerty video. So, something along those lines. Usually the Head Sprout episodes, the phonics ones maybe are 10 to 15 minutes. I think some of the, if you have a middle school student or fourth grader, some of the comprehension ones might be a little bit longer, maybe 20 minutes. So they're not, they're not super, super lengthy, but just as far as reading, or if your children are reading ebooks or epic books or the library ebooks, I think all of us would advise, maybe depending on age, 10 to 20 minutes of reading a night is great. Either reading with you or them reading to you or you reading to them. Any of those would be great, a great support.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions for us? Feel free to shout out or put them in the chat.
And I was just going to kind of follow up. The best way is to reach out to any of these reading specialists with any questions that you may have. You might think of questions later on. We are always available. I spoke with a couple teachers today, and we really want to make sure everybody realizes that all of our teachers are available. We're working basically 18 hours a day, answering emails, talking to parents, working with kids. So please reach out to the teachers. We are all here to help everyone. So please don't hesitate. I put out the contacts, but as you know, you can just go right into your Google Classroom or go right into our website and find the teacher's contact and send out a message. We're here to help you.
Okay, and I found one more question before I guess we sign off. Mrs. Jennifer Hayes, this one I'm sending straight to you. It says, how can we improve writing skills from home? She's our writing guru.
Well, it's such a great question because it's so often, like poetry is often forgotten in reading. Writing is sometimes the last thing that we're thinking about at home. We're certainly working very hard on it at school. But the number one thing is, I think, to get your child a special notebook or a special journal, or make a little notebook. We used to make notebooks with the covers of cereal boxes and just put paper in there and staple it. So it's free and fun. And just encourage your child to write anything about their day. They could make up stories. It can be a sentence and then build upon that. Sometimes parents will write a question to the child and they have to answer it, and then they write a question to you and you have to answer it. But I realize that we're all really, really busy and I don't want to create any more stress, but just writers write. And if you want to become a better writer, you just write. If you want to become a better reader, you just read. I mean, that's one of the ways in which to become a better reader and a writer. But the more you read, the better you write. The more you write, the better you read. Thank you for the question.
Another question is, are the reading specialists still going into the classrooms and working with the entire class? how will the reading specialist work with kids on virtual days? And I believe it's different for different grade levels and different buildings. So who wants to start?
I can. Right now, we're still in the process of identifying children that need to be pulled out when we do have groups. So I'm pushing in, but we're working on that. And when we do identify those children, I am going to be pulling groups out, and we're going to try to have children in person and Zooming in at the same time. We're going to see how that works. So for example, if you're in cohort A and it's Thursday, Friday, and you're not in school, I'm still with cohort B. So we're hoping that those students will have the ability to Zoom in. And if they aren't, then I will put those items in the Google Classroom so they'll either have access to them live or they can work on those things on their own. I think it's such a fluid situation. We have to see what works for families, what works for classroom teachers, and what's working for parents. But that's our initial game plan at University Park.
CSC, it's a little different. I'm there full time, so I'm working with both cohort A and cohort B. So in cohort A, I will be pulling out students Mondays and Tuesdays, and I will be sending things home. Either I will have a Google Classroom, but I will be sending things home, like paper books and things that they can work on at home. Not assignments per se, but just things that should, just practice reading at home. That'll be on Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays. Some of my groups I have to push in because there are just too many. My little classroom, I'm only allowed to take 2 kids at a time. So I feel that I won't be able to help as many kids if I just pull 2 kids at a time. So some of the classrooms I will be pushing in. Dr. Neithamer is going to be working mainly at CSC with, well, not mainly, she's going to be doing both. She's going to be working with the GATE kids that are all virtual. She'll be doing things online that way. And she's also going to be working with cohort A, pulling small groups out. So it's a little bit different at CSE.
At my side, we're pretty much doing the same thing. Since I'm there full time, I'll be pulling groups from both cohort A and cohort B when they're there, and supporting them online when they're at home. And the students who are all GATE or all online right now, Dr. Neithamer will be working with those students.
At Ramsey, I'm also working on scheduling and rosters, and that will finalize after we finish the assessments and screening. But my goal is to pull students during the intervention time. And I've already spoken to all the homeroom teachers about scheduling that in so that they're not missing any core instruction on the days that they're there. I'll have them for their 30-minute intervention time. And students that are in the GATE model, I've talked to the GATE teachers, and I am going to be meeting with those students over Zoom on Wednesday for the most part, because usually most GATE teachers are not Zooming in on Wednesday. So that's a good day for me to Zoom with those students and offer support to them, as well as the many things that we'll all be posting in their Google Classrooms to work on throughout the week and days when they're not in school, or when they're not, when they have free time to use some of our resources.
And a parent asked about how we are supporting GATE children, and we have tackled GATE pretty much by grade level. For example, this is Dr. Neithamer again. I am helping with kindergarten and 1st grade GATE at CSE. I am also helping with 5th and 6th grade GATE at Mosside Middle School. I believe Mrs. Ellen Hayes is assisting GATE at CSE 2nd grade. Mrs. Jennifer Hayes is assisting GATE 3rd and 4th. GATE
I apologize, I forgot about that. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, and Lori Stevenson is working with GATE at Mosside Middle School. So there's somebody for you for GATE, I promise. And again, reach out to any one of us and we'll send you to the right person if you happen to email the wrong person, because it's a little bit, like Mrs. Hill said, all over the place, but we know what we're doing. Like, I got it. I got it. I hope that comforts you a little bit, but somebody will be there for the GATE teacher and the GATE kids. And we are working on Zoom times, whether it's going to be Monday or Tuesday or Thursday, Friday, or on Wednesdays. We're working on for GATE the individualized lessons, helping them with their regular classroom lessons, and they should be in touch shortly. But of course, if you'd like to email us sooner than later, we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Mr. Mateos isn't exaggerating when he says we're working 18 hours days. We're constantly on our phones. We're all Zooming each other, and it's pretty, we like it. I mean, we're going nuts, but we really enjoy each other's company, and we are learning so much and helping each other. And we're excited because we love our plan.
And we're learning lots of new stuff. Right? Never too old to learn something new.
And we also are very much aware of everybody juggling all of these schedules and looking at those virtual times. So please reach out to your individual teachers to make sure that everything works for you. We are not, we are flexible. So anything we need to do to make it work, we will do that. I just wanted to also follow up on one of the questions. I had shared one of our resources of how to get to some of the resources that we have available. Webstart.gatewayk12.net is usually a great one-stop shop to get to those resources. So if I am a second grade student, I can go to the Webstart and I can find all of these resources that we use at Gateway to help supplement our curriculum. So explore the Webstart, take a look. You see curriculum links and lots of supplemental programs that are here. Any of the programs we use, our tech department works quickly to get those listed here. So if you're ever looking for resources, Webstart is a good place to start as well. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. Again,
Mr. Mateo, while you're on there, if you look at like where the turquoise S is, that's Scholastic. That's where you would access reading counts if you click on there.
correct. So, and that's all listed right here. As you can see, everything in the Scholastic platform is here on this page. Thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate it. All right. Any other questions? I haven't checked the chat. Thank you, Dr. Neithamer, for sharing your website there in the chat. And again, this presentation will be on YouTube. And we will also, if you noticed, I shared the Gateway School District Title I website. That is also on the district's website. You can find those resources there as well. We will be posting this presentation on that website. So, and then of course, if you think of anything, please reach out to us. We are here to help. So if there's any other questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. But otherwise, we'll be wrapping up our meeting. And again, we appreciate your time tonight. We appreciate your interest in your child's education. And again, if you have any specific questions about the building, please reach out to the principals or the reading specialists or the classroom teachers. And again, thank you so much for being here. And we hope you have a good night. I'll leave the meeting open in case anybody wants to throw some questions in the chat, and we can just kind of check those out. But thanks, everyone. I will stop the recording at this point.
Thanks, everyone.